on like a little show.
You need to reboot it, and then she need to be a parent now. I don't know who from then is still around, but
My goddamn, it was the producer.
but I mean, like as far as studio,
he actually works at Tyler Perry Studio.
Oh, that's awesome. He ever talk about Tyler Perry?
he ain't gonna talk about it with her. You know, fool.
Yeah, like that.
No, I mean, is he a horror man?
I mean,
Even if he is.
Yeah, like we ain't discussing little business like that. He wouldn't tell me if somebody is good or bad or what's good.
Check the ups. 2 seconds. Which one?
I'm glad.
You ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Social Flex, everyone. Good evening. Happy to have you all viewing with us. I'm one of your Social Flex hosting guys, Sierra Tompkins.
Now, you
Okay. What else did?
You are Sierra Tompkins.
I'm 43 and the same as last week. I don't know, man.
How many people did you
I have to tell you. I don't know. Could be, it might not be.
That's too much not knowing. Hello. I am Carlisa Turner. I am your other Social Flex host and guide. I am 42 and I am widowed and single.
So, today's topic is a very deep topic, as a lot of it on social media. As of yesterday, we will be talking child support, and what that means to you.
I'm gonna have a problem with it. Means to get the child support is child support. I don't think there is no meaning. It is child support. It's very cut and dry. It's very much black and white. What it means to you. You cannot rearrange that. That's what it is.
I mean, but it's what it means.
Paying it or you ain't.
It's what it means to the people.
Getting it or you ain't. No,
but it's what it means to the people. No ma'am, no ham.
No turkey.
Okay, I mean, hey.
Child support. Now, what you do with it?
We gonna get it out. We gonna get it out. Okay. That's all that I can say at this point. We'll introduce our lovely guest. Is she on camera?
Yeah, she on there. If she don't want to be, she got to sit
over here.
She said, "Excuse me."
You can slide over 1 or 2 or 3. But you're in that camera right here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dana Richardson Campbell. There's Yolanda. And I'm married. I'm an attorney and mother of 4.
Woo-hoo. What type of law do you practice?
Oh my goodness.
Campbell, Richardson Campbell.
Family law.
Okay, so we're going to put this disclaimer out right now. If you're viewing this, if you're watching this, if you have any question, however, we cannot give legal advice in any type of way, shape, or form.
We can't, she can't.
This can't be, anything I say should not be construed as legal advice.
Boom! She give you a little bit of suggestions, maybe a phone number. can get your own little help.
Website.
It'll give you all of that. All of that. If you have any questions in regards to child support, or if you have any comments or anything like that, drop it in the chat. In one of the chats, and we'll be sure to try to address it. I won't guarantee we won't address it, but we'll try to address it. So
let's open it up. What is child support?
Oh, you're looking at me?
Yes.
Well, child
We've
support.
got the internet, but I mean, since you said it.
Yeah.
Child support is a mechanism that the court uses to provide support to a household, right? So the mechanism aims to equalize the incomes of, I would say, the respective households. The goal is so that the children, the subject children, can be properly supported. That's it. That's what child support is.
Yeah. You're going towards this way when you go that way. Yeah.
When I go which way?
The way you were going.
This way?
Yep. Right there.
Is she still on her?
Yep.
Is on her now?
Yep. Wait, something. You're catching something. Go this way, something.
Is it me? I'm standing.
Yeah, it's you. Yeah, damn it. Yeah, you're good right there.
I'm trying to change the frame so that it cuts.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. So that's what child support is. They provide the incomes of the respective parents' households so that it's fair.
I was going to say, is it fair?
Fairness is in the eye of the beholder. The payors don't think it's fair. The payees probably do. Or not.
Yeah,
enough.
It does.
Yeah, so yeah, it
The
depends.
parents, you're right. It's an item. I don't understand it.
Right. So are there like different types of brackets of child support? Like does it go at different levels or is it?
There's a guideline. So our Commonwealth of Pennsylvania uses a guideline to determine child support. And the guideline takes in several factors, the income of the parties, there's tons of factors. And it takes in the amount of children, children between the parties, whether they have other children, whether they get bonuses at work, spouses don't count.
No, I mean, only I say that because I sit in a different chair when I was sitting in different. And so I remember one time there was a case where one of the parties, the party that was receiving the child support had gotten married, and they were going down to keep asking for increase after increase. What does your husband provide to stay in household? Not that they wanted to factor in their income, but the fact that you can't keep bringing this person down there.
Right.
When you have someone who should be a contributor.
Well, if you're running
the structural process.
Sure. That would be like, you can't just keep going for child support. There has to be a change in circumstances or a certain period of time has to elapse. You could ask me to look at it again. But just to keep going down with no change in circumstances, it's unlikely that they'll do anything.
I'm waiting for the freshmen to roll in. Listen, if y'all have questions, this is the best time to answer. I'm telling you, the fact that, we are able to provide, someone who's very educated on the topic, someone who's very possibly benefit you. So,
yeah, but sometimes people don't think it's fair. Yeah. And so one of you brought up like what people do with the child support, right? So that's where it comes into play when people are like, I pay child support, but the mother is getting her nails done and her hair done. And so there's another way to look at that. It's not necessarily support that's going toward that, right? Because usually both parties have some sort of income. They're being assessed at something. So usually people aren't being assessed, you don't get assessed at zero. Only in certain circumstances, but usually not even then because there's some sort of income in place. Like, I don't want to go too far down like a disability rabbit hole. But for instance, people get upset and they say, well, she gets her nails done and her hair done. Well, that may not necessarily be being done with your support. What's happening is your support goes to the household to support your children, right? And you have to factor in that mother has to pay rent, utilities, mother or father, whoever, whichever party is receiving the support. They have to pay utilities, rent, clothes. There's a lot that support goes to. And a lot of times the support that's being paid doesn't even come close to covering all those things. But what it's doing is it's helping to equalize those households, right? Mm-hmm. So it's trying to bring that household up. So what it's doing is it's freeing up some of that person's money so that they can do something for themselves. Are we trying to say that people shouldn't be able to get their hair done or their nails done? Are they supposed to be using all of their money to support the kids, or the other person isn't supposed to be using any of their money to support the kids? So really, I think people fail to realize it's an equalization measure. It's not necessarily that the person is using their money to accomplish these things. That money goes to support the kids, which in turn frees up the payees' income so that they can do something for themselves. Because I think it's, my personal opinion, it's their right to be able to do something for themselves.
Now, does child support only mean financial?
Yes. I mean, in terms of the law, it's financial. It's money. It's money. It's health insurance, right? It's in certain states it could be even provide for college, but it depends, right? That's a whole other area of the law, but yes, it's all financial based.
So I guess the other portion of it is custody.
Yes.
Like child support and custody, kind of, do they go hand in hand?
They can, yes. So a lot of times people will initiate a custody action so that it has an effect on your support. Because if the person who's paying support has the children for a certain amount of time, they get consideration in the child support calculation for that. However, even if parties say share 50-50 custody, if there's a disparity in their income, that person who makes a higher income could still owe support. It just depends on how far apart their incomes are. The closer together, the likelihood that there'll be a zero support obligation. The further you start to get apart, then there may be some sort of an obligation.
Custody.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question.
Right.
That's why I asked the question.
They're not telling them to go on and down, but if you don't go get custody, I don't know.
That was the
not full custody.
That was going to have to at least be
weekend,
a certain amount. Yeah, you have to be over 40%.
Weekends,
yeah, you have to be over 40%.
Summers.
But that's why I asked, and I know a lot of guys may tune into this maybe now, later, and a lot of the what I hear a lot from men is like, oh, she won't get me for my bread because child support, and they really don't know, like, hey, my guy, you know you can go down and fight for custody of your kid and do what you got to do that way.
Right, and you need that order. So even if, because there's sometimes parents will share custody, fine, go back and forth. And here, like you said, let's pretend it's a guy, he's like, oh, I'm really getting hit for custody, but I mean child support, but I have my kids all the time. Well, yeah, you should get an order, because that's when the court will take notice of that, and possibly give you some consideration. And custody is judged by overnights. So it's how many overnights. So then we get into a game of counting overnights. reasons why we want you up over, a certain amount.
So I have a question. So now, more often than not, so there are fathers who pay child support, but then the mother on the back end is constantly, or whoever I'm gonna go mother to father.
Yeah,
so the mother is getting the
yes.
support and the father is the one paying. And the mother will go to the father and say, well, I still need money for this, and I still need money for this, and I still need money for this, and I still need money for that. And so then the father is giving. Then he falls on a hard time, he gets laid off, he gets furloughed, something happens, and he misses a payment. But then he goes on, like, yeah, but I was still, contributing, and a good bit of the time, judge will be like, well, so what? I told you to be. I didn't tell you to go buy this or go buy that or go contribute this and contribute that. You know what I mean? So, and I know a lot of fathers that find that hard. Like, if my child needed something, like, so what? Concentrate on your support order and don't do anything extra, right?
Right.
And so I just wanted you to maybe explain it from a legal standpoint.
Sure.
If you can.
Sure. Legally, we want you to adhere to the order, right? Because anything you do outside of that order doesn't count. It's like you said, that the judge will be like, well, so what? I'm telling you to pay me, right? You're paying through Paysees or whatever, you're paying through the state. So I think what we're talking about is two different things. We have a legal obligation, but also we have people, like you mentioned, the father in this instance, who has a moral obligation. And so we have a mother who is amoral or, has some value issues because she's not willing to cut father a break when he's falling on hard times and at least suspend the support. Yeah, right.
I mean, like I said, I know
brothers get broke down in the courtroom.
I know a few people actually going through a little bit of these situations right now, and I was like, well, we're going to do the topic, so maybe in the next, when we do part 2, because we definitely didn't want to, bombard you.
Yeah, we wanted to give you a chance to kind of get out like the
responsible
conversation out before we start the nonsensical.
Okay.
Right.
I'm on game for part 2.
No, so somebody said, long story short, ninjas don't have to pay for anything outside the order.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, basically, yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
However, if they want to, they can.
It just doesn't serve them to do that.
It doesn't serve them to do that. If say mother, because we're talking about ninjas, so that mothers are going to be forgiving if they fall on a hard time. So I think it comes down to communication. Like, you might not be together or in a relationship of any kind,
I think
romantically together, like in a relationship together, but you're always kind of like a family, right? You have a child. You are considered still like a family unit. So it behooves, people to try to maintain some civility and work together, and I think you can get a better result.
But even with just while we stay on this subject, when we talk about TANF cases.
Yeah.
So even if it's a TANF, it doubly doesn't serve him to do anything extra. When it's a TANF case, because she can be as forgiving as she wants to be.
Sure.
It's a whole other entity that's standing in her telling her to shut the P word up or shut the piss up.
Yeah.
He did not pay your honor.
That's right.
Lock him up. I don't know why she's talking. We give her money too, so he's supposed to pay us our money back. We didn't get that.
That's right.
So, I just want that to be in consideration, to consider also how you're being sued, is that if she's downer because she's receiving TANF money, you don't know what TANF money is. I mean, the Department of Human Services is providing her.
Right.
What's up with the income?
Cash assistance.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's
cash
of some sort.
It's cash assistance.
Food stamps don't count.
I don't want to be, derogatory or like I was frowning on it.
Food stamps don't count.
No, food stamps don't count. But if you're receiving a cash assistance from the state, then you have, unless you have, domestic violence issue, then you don't have to file. But if that is the situation where you're forced to go down and file for child support because you're receiving assistance from this entity. Then if he does anything extra, and he falls on a situation where he can't meet that obligation, he's doomed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is doomed. I have seen guys get broke down in that courtroom, coming with shoe boxes, expandables, lunch totes, you know what I mean, John Eagle bags, full Macy's bags, Coughlin's bag, or Coughlin's
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Full of receipts and things that they ticket stubs and stuff that they've done for and with their children, and the judge look them dead in their face and go,
Yep, gotta pay that support. Yep, gotta pay that support.
with her mom, my mom was kicking in and helping her, when I couldn't, and the judge is like, your mom should have been dropping
Yeah, right on that account.
$372.50 down at the window if she
That's
wanted to
right.
help you out. You tell your mom you still want this amount in full before we let you out. So
440 Ross.
I find you in contempt for a term up to 6 months.
Is there a disparity between like male female ratio? Like, do you find like, and I'm just asking this because of like what you hear and what you see. Is there more males on child support than females, or is the ratio pretty even?
No, I tend to see that it's more, in my experience, through my practice, it tends to be more so the men that are paying the support, not women. That's just been my, and I practice law for almost 17 years.
So you see more men than women.
I see more men than women pay.
Yeah.
It's usually the woman wanting us to file, or the men asking us to please help them not to pay so much.
I don't know if this is a real question or not, or if they're just making a comment. It says, if so many people get child support, why do people have back to school giveaways? I don't necessarily think that that's a child support issue. I think that that's just like economic issue.
For as many people as getting child support, there's that many, if not more, that don't.
Yeah, and I think all families need assistance. I think I think the families of any size, any size and any income need assistance at times.
You're right.
So it's not just people on child support; it's people who are working, and both parents could be working. They need the help. So, and a backpack could be the ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, it really could make the difference. And some loose leaf paper and stuff, shoot.
Pencils,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is an economical structure to that, but disparity is disparity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some like our economy, I'm gonna say it is a little jacked up. So the things that you feel like you could afford, you may not be able to afford. So
that person, whoever asked that question, just add up how much you think it costs to take care of a child. How much? And keep in mind that the cost of living keeps
going up.
Even places where you could go when you were like struggling, the Goodwill is taxed. If you think about Goodwill,
Yes.
Man, I went to the first store a couple weeks ago.
the safest victim.
Yes.
I was like,
It's Target prices.
Girl, I was willing to go. I forget what I was looking for. I think it looked like a rice cooker or something dumb. Because you know how we do those family things.
Yes.
I don't even want to be doing all that sometimes. So I've been looking for the little devices to make it simpler.
Yeah, they probably.
I was in there looking at some of the price points. Who's doing the price point in here?
For real.
Take this down.
Right.
I had to walk back out and look at the bill.
You could have went to Walmart and got $10. $10 a rice cooker. That's where I got mine. The Goodwill's tax, and they want Target price.
Always. That's everything come up 2, 3, 4, 5.
I got mine for
You got
my
to be
kids.
kidding.
My little rice cooker.
Oh, they have this thing?
Absolutely. Listen,
they got everything.
now everything going there, boy. I was trying to
I rent your whole house. You get business. You can start a business out of Mac bed.
I see the warehouse, and I was like, I gotta go there.
Well, you can go in there, but
You
can't go in there.
Can't go in there. And they have the warehouse out by me where it's the smaller items.
Yeah.
But you gotta do everything on. You gotta be online.
You gotta be online.
Sure.
But they got the smaller items where you could go through the bins now.
Yeah.
It
has Butler.
It's by Mac bin. Yeah, come on out with it. Yeah, it's but it's like
gotta
small
sign in.
stuff.
It's just cool. Yeah, you gotta transfer it.
My bad.
But
Oh, I get it. So you have to bid on it.
yeah.
Do they ship it to you? You gotta pick
You
it up.
gotta go pick it up. But,
Okay.
but it's worth it. Like I just bought 3 whole new beds for Mom's house for nothing, for pennies.
What?
If you go
Where
on
did that
Jamari's
bed?
bed came from that bed. Delilah's the bed that's going in the guest room is still in the box in the garage. The desk in the room that Jamari is in came from that bed. It lights up and everything. Got power to it. It's nice and loud.
What?
The gaming chair.
The social flex and go one back.
The gaming chair came from that. I done bought that 5 blenders.
What's the name of 5 blenders? What is life work that cold?
Again, if you guys have any questions, send them to the chat.
Yes.
But that was my main question. It had to do a lot with like custody and child support. I mean, I do have other questions, but I guess they're like case by case situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you mentioned you like mentioned the fact that like based on a household. Like, if one household makes more than another, they're trying to even it out. But what happens when there's a disparity as to, like, the male is not actually working? Like, they actually are like, my guy, you got to go get a job.
Yes.
So, what, like, I don't want to say what's the suggestion, but what's the suggestion for, like, a male who has to go through, like, this type of thing?
Sure. So let me address what I think you're trying to ask me. So what happens when somebody's not working? Are they still going to get hit for child support? The answer is most likely yes. It depends. Why are they not working? Is it because they're disabled, like truly disabled? If somebody's truly disabled, there's a whole process to go through because you have to prove that. So we can't just say work, or can you not work for a period of time or something like that. Like you have to have this surgery and you literally can't work, right? So there are some circumstances where we can prove to the court, why they're not working. But just not working, healthy individual, you're going to most likely be assessed at minimum wage. You're going to get that guideline amount. And we usually call it like minimum wage. So, and that's what they're going to use to calculate the support. And sometimes people will owe something. And again, it's going to be based off of what does the other person make? How many children are there? So we have that big guideline that we go by. And sometimes it's just a little bit, but a little bit can be a lot to somebody who doesn't have anything. Yeah. So their child support might be $100 a month, or $25 a month, or $6 a month. Well, it might as well be $6,000 a month if you don't have anything. So it's still, can be very stressful.
Now, what if, for instance, the person, either male or female, they have other kids who that parent doesn't put them on child support, but they're still, like, financially responsible for that kid? How is that, like, taken into consideration when another, like, is filed for another child? Like, say, for instance, Bob got 7 kids, but only one of his baby's mom went down and filed for 1 kid, but he still has to take care of, like, or he still takes care of the others.
Absolutely. So they'll take that into consideration. They'll say, I have 7 other kids. And again, we have to prove this. We can't just be like, I have 7 other kids. And they're just going to be like, okay. So we prove that we have 7 other kids. It helps when they're on child support, I guess, but no, they will take them into consideration.
So I do have a question as well. So what happens when the child is not biologically?
Okay.
So this is a day where guys are put on child support.
Yes.
And they later find out that this child biologically does not belong to them.
Okay. So you're getting into a whole other legal issue. So this has to do with paternity, and it depends on the circumstances. That's why we suggest that people don't just unmarried people putting their names on birth certificates. You should not just sign on a birth certificate. You should do a paternity test to avoid this. If you're married, you're getting sacked with the kid anyway. That's the law. It's automatic. But if you think it might not be your child, you have to be proactive, right? Proactive. Otherwise, you're going to still be stuck with the kid if they're not yours.
Then
You understand? Like, you have a certain amount of time to address these issues, even as unmarried people. So I know you don't want to hurt people's feelings or whatever, but you should get an answer. You need to get a proper paternity test. And even if you just do a DNA test, like stay at home, just to find out for yourself. Okay, you found out for yourself. That won't count in court though. You have to go through the court. You can call us up, 888-733-8752. Tell us you have an issue with paternity so that we can help you, because it's a whole other action that we have to go through to get a proper paternity test. You were in law enforcement, chain of custody, right? So that's why you have to go through the court, and that one will count. And that one can help you if you're acting timely. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with the kid, and you're going to be stuck paying support.
What if I ain't want the kid in the first place?
all right. So I got a question too.
I'm serious. I was like, no, Keisha, I don't want no baby.
Right.
And Keisha was like, I'm having this baby.
You're stuck with the baby.
Oh, that's
I didn't know
So it's actually against the law. So our children have a constitutionally protected right. I don't think people know this. To be supported by their other parents. They have two parents, and you can't just give up. You know how people will sometimes come to us and be like, "He's going to sign over his rights." No such thing. There is no such thing as signing over your rights, over your parental rights. These are constitutionally protected rights. You can sign over your physical custody time. I want her she can have all physical custody of the child, all legal custody, but that's not signing over your parental rights, which means she can have all of that, and that's fine. You're not going to exercise any of that, and that's always modifiable anyway, but you're still paying support. You don't get
that is
crazy over.
See, because my question was, but what if a guy's like, yo, I paid to get an abortion. Like, I gave you rent for an abortion, and you had the baby anyway.
Shouldn't have laid down with Keisha. Be more.
Here's what's unfair. This is what's why it's unfair to me.
It's important.
Because we've had this conversation before. Her and I had a knockdown drag out the baby.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we wasn't going back and forth, and we had some good ones. I wish I could record them so y'all can see.
It's fun. It's not.
No, not like we about to go, bitch, okay.
Right, but we get into it.
But we do. We have some really good ones.
Yes.
But here's why it's unfair to me. If I don't want to have a baby,
yes,
and Frank wants to have this baby, there ain't a mother effing thing that Frank can do to stop me from terminating this pregnancy.
That's right.
And Frank just has to eat that. On the flip side, if Frank doesn't want to be a father, but I want to be a mother, then Frank again has to eat that, because I again get to make all the decisions and hold all the cards.
Yep.
That is some unfair bullshit.
It is.
For me. Somebody needs to get in the legislation and change
that. It is, because
that's crazy.
Two people made the decision to lay down together. What if one wants a child and one doesn't?
And I feel in fairness to the men. This does not mean pandering. I feel this in fairness to the men. If they don't want to be a parental participant, they should not be forced to have to. And I mean, no backseats, no refunds, returns, or exchanges. If you decide that you don't want to have anything to do with this child, you don't exist to this child. You can't come later like, oh, Keisha, come on. Let me see my son. No, you don't have a son. You didn't want a kid. You don't have a kid. I couldn't take you to court. There was a legal, thing signed or done that absolved you from any rights or responsibility or acknowledgement as it pertains to this child. And be able to go on to your life. Peace belongs to you, my brother. Live free. I don't think that it's fair that he can't go to court and be like, well, I want her to terminate my. Well, he probably could, but by the time you would get there, but I don't want her to terminate that pregnancy. I want that baby. I want that baby. she gets to choose. I mean, it's getting less and less of a choice these days.
Right.
But I'm just saying, she gets to choose. And it's not fair that we get to hold all the cards and the men in this respect have to suffer.
Understood.
So is there I know you can't give people advice.
Right.
But if there happens to be a situation where a guy's like, yo, I told you, like, I don't want, like, I'm to sign up for my rights. If I sign up for my rights legally, can they have a document signed, like, I agree, we agree that if I sign up for my rights, she cannot sue me.
The baby
now, if you
has
have somebody to put in their place, so somebody else can adopt a child, like a husband, not Joe Schmo off the street. If you're married, stuff like that, and the person wants to adopt the child, then maybe.
That is, wow.
Then
so
maybe.
Whoever's telling y'all to sign y'all rights,
somebody else.
Telling y'all to lie to y'all.
You gotta stick somebody else in the spot then.
That
and
is,
then not always.
Wow.
Then not always. The court's gonna look at other factors.
I think that's unfair.
Yeah,
I mean, but it is what it is. I just think
it is. And I feel like it's super unfair too, because like it's just wow. Like there could be a whole lot of factors as to why. Again, we're gonna go one party or the other doesn't want that kid.
That's right.
And to be
and the woman gets to decide for everybody
right
what that looks like, and I just think
but
I understand.
But even the fact of that, it's like I could be, and I'm speaking as a man right now, like I could be going through something very, very serious that I don't want her to know about, but if she sues me, I gotta end up paying that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy.
So this is why we exercise good decision making when we have unprotected sex with people.
Is there recourse if I have an answer to this already, but I want them to know. So if a man wants the baby and the woman doesn't, does he have any legal action that he can take to stop her from?
You could. That's what
we could try. I mean, we fight over embryos all the time and things like that. Yeah. So we can try.
If you guys are tuning in and have any questions, we're talking child support today. We cannot give legal advice, but there could be suggestions made.
Here's something that resonates with you that you can use.
That's right.
Usable information there.
Because I think a lot of it is a fairness thing. Just like you're talking, a lot of it comes on the fairness. Like, it just doesn't seem fair that some of this stuff goes on.
And I hate to use the word fair, because fair is a place where they judge people. Just I'm just saying for the sake of conversation, like that's some job mess.
It is. It can be. I agree.
Really.
I agree. I think there should be some kind of mechanism in place, but I think I don't know. It's complicated, because we look at what a woman's right to choose, but we can't even figure that out. Let alone figure out two people. One wants the baby and one don't.
Who was the other thing that I was going to ask? Dang, I lost it. When I get it back, I'll ask.
It's on its way right
I
back.
definitely lost it. It came to me while I was scrolling. That's so wild.
So I was watching, I think, I'm always watching other podcasts because,
This is what you do.
market research.
That's right. That's what you do.
Market research. So I was watching, I do believe it was a podcast, and the gentleman was talking about how he believed that things that could solve a lot of the plaguing of child support is if fellas, when they come in there, the ones like that don't have jobs or lacking in the financial brackery of it all. I mean, brackery of it all.
Yeah. It sounded like a word.
It sounded real. I made it sound real professional. It's not.
Yeah.
The financial brackery of it all.
Yeah.
To then to force, and I'm using force lightly, them to take a trade.
Okay.
To go into the trades. Pick a trade, go to trade school, get a trade, so that they can begin to make gainful employment that not only assists them in their life forward, but also in the child who they're financially responsible for
Sure.
in their life forward. So feeling like that could be instead of just always sentencing them in jail, because jail isn't fixing the problem. I don't
No, jail isn't fixing
it does not fix the problem. Some guys be ready to go down, and I've seen them come out ready like, I'm just here to get my 6 months, right? I'm here to get my 6 months.
Yeah, it's not fixing it. And so what you're doing is, I think, in that instance, pushing somebody just further down mentally, physically, emotionally. Now you're just making them even more downtrodden by sending them to jail.
Right.
You know, because we don't know what baseline we're working with and why they're not working or anything. And even so, for other people that end up in our criminal justice system, you know, not really go off into a rabbit hole, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Jail is just not helping a lot of things.
Right.
Right. I think only certain people really should go to actual jail.
So he was saying that he felt like that the alternative should be to make them take up a trade, like a trades program. Pick one. Here's your list. Today, which trades program are we assigning them to? Okay. And then assign them to a trades program. They complete the trades program. They start working, and then begin the wage attaching and blah 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 blah. And that becomes, but then, and only then, if you can't complete, it's kind of like with like the world. Is it going to work? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
So you want them to pay for, and they're like, you got to go to these classes. You got to take these classes, and then to get a job because they're trying to help you stand on your own 2 feet. But I guess the same principle.
I like a career path. So what if you could choose a career path and the state would help pay for it?
Yeah.
Like, and that might help motivate some people. I don't know, fix it all together, but I think that would be a good idea. You know, not even trades, maybe they could pick certain types of career paths that they have an interest in.
What is the max age that someone has to pay child support?
You mean for the child? 18 or when they graduate from high school, whichever happens last. So they can turn 18 in December, but they don't graduate from high school until June. You're paying child support until they graduate in June.
What about the college support? Because I know some people that have to pay for this college as well.
A lot of times when people have been married and they work out in their marital settlement agreements, our state, only under certain circumstances, will do college support, and that's by agreement of the parties. Yeah. Other states will do it. So it depends. Our Commonwealth has different rules than other states.
Are there any situations in which someone would have to pay support past the age of 18?
There could be if the child is disabled. Could be. It's possible.
How late can the mother file for child support? A. B. How far retroactively does the father have to pay?
Okay, filing date. So if you chose not to take father for 10 years of the child's life, and you filed on January 1st, 2024, and you don't go to court, say, till April, you're getting court from January 1st, 2024.
Well, thank God for Pennsylvania, because I know some states that go back to work.
Yeah, we're not doing retroactive.
17 and a half, 17 and 3/4, and she just came down. So you owe back 17 and 3/4.
And there are some circumstances where we might go retroactively for a certain time. You know, like I had a case where something had happened and they tried to file it. Then there was a paternity issue, which put a pin in the support. So, you know, our argument is, no, we're not going from January 1st, 2024. Once the maternity issue got situated, we want it back to January 1st, 2023 when we originally filed.
Okay.
But the attorney actually paid and made us put a pin in it. So under certain circumstances, for instance, something like that, we may be able to look back a little further. Yeah. And we can look back sometimes if people fail to report income. Like if they're already on support and they fail to report their income, then we want the difference for a certain period of time too.
Don't be lying to the court.
So
yeah,
I guess
you got a good attorney, they're gonna find out.
I don't know
report those changes in income.
You can answer this like, okay, when we talk state, like Tanner, like how she stated that.
Yeah.
Is there any situations where they still want their money? Like the kid is 18, but we still want our money.
It's in the arrears. So we'll just be in the arrears. And
So
and everybody's getting whatever arrears that they're supposed to get. But nobody should be on Tanner that long. Isn't it pretty short? No. I months or something like
Oh,
that.
hell. I know people that make it career.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you could only get cash assistance for a short period of time.
I wouldn't know, but
Okay. Hey. So yeah. Sometimes the support, I mean, not being on I've seen cases where it's like you should probably get off of this because this person is
Well,
working.
here's the delusion that I've run into with TANF cases. Is that you go down, so here's the delusion I've run into with TANF cases, both personally and professionally, is that you get excited because they tell you got to go down and file for child support. And they're not telling you that to go down and file for child support for you. They're telling you to go down and file for child support because they want their money back.
That's right.
They want their money back. And so you go skipping down there, I don't file for child support, and you showing up to every whether you show up or not, their attorney is in the building to collect what's theirs. You're only there because your name is on the docket, not because they need you in the building. Let's be clear what that is. Now, they go outside and when they're not getting that little card, because you get the card regardless, the little Epic card, whatever it's called now. What's it called? It's called an Epic card.
I don't know nothing about it.
You get this little card and a little credit card in the mail. And now you're mad because there ain't no money coming on this little Epic card.
No.
Everybody calling that card. And motherfuckers still say
they're taking
$0
they're taking the money
and 0 cents. And that is because they get paid first. And so now you all on the internet like, motherfucker don't pay no motherfucking child support. And it's like, baby girl, you're a TANF case. You're not supposed to get that. You get what's left over. If he makes so much money that they're only asking for this amount, then you'll get what's extra.
Get off TANF and just go.
That's what I was going to say. It's for Sweden.
Maybe.
Your best bet might be to maybe work it out, maybe set up a financial agreement.
That far ahead. Yeah. I know a girl. The guy was paying rent, paying her cell phone bill because she lived in subsidized housing. Mm-hmm. So not that her rent was going to be high. Buying her groceries. Right. In addition to what she was able to buy herself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Paying for this, paying for that, paying for this, paying for that. And then decided, F you. Oh, you gonna get a girlfriend. Oh, that's what you're gonna get. I'm joking. And then now you go down and you put this man on child support, and now you're mad because the child support people tell that man because he only makes X amount of dollars on paper that he only got paid $50 a month.
Well, that's true too. under the table jobs. But
he only made this much money on paper, so you get $50 a month, and now you're mad, and now you want this man to still do what he was doing.
Hold up. I've had cases where we could prove under the table income because of certain assets that the man had.
You have to be able to afford a lawyer like you.
For instance, if for instance, father is driving a Ferrari, but he doesn't have a job, and father might say, "Well, I was borrowing that Ferrari," but our private detective has fathered the Ferrari.
Back to my original point, you got to be able to afford.
I'm just saying. And
that attorney.
That goes for male and female. You got to be able to afford that attorney. So whether you're a male or female, if you want good legal with detectives,
I've argued the reverse too.
And forensic accountants,
I've argued that these are not father's assets. I got it both.
We don't know what you're talking about, Your Honor.
Listen,
I've done it both ways.
But what I'm saying, so. Now you're mad because he only has to pay $50 a month.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now you're still expecting him to continue to contribute to your life the way he was.
Right.
He got somebody in his life like me that's telling him like, no, I wouldn't do that if I were you because if ever you fall on the time that you can't afford that little $50 a month. I'm saying that's what happens. And if they ever come to that and you don't pay that court document, you are going to jail.
That's true.
None of these receipts will matter. You're going to jail. I can tell you what the spiel is going to be verbatim.
And that's sad that a person wouldn't recognize the clothes, the shoes, and what a help all that stuff is. what a huge help that other stuff is versus, like you said, that $50 a month, right? It's so
I mean, sometimes
you need to give and take.
I think it's like sometimes people don't see the bigger picture. Like you think the grass is greener on the other side, but then once you go down and do all this stuff, and I know a couple people that's going through it now, and I'm like, she should have just called you for the bread.
Yeah,
you would have just gave it. Like I'm seeing a lot of those cases where I'm just like, Goofy, if you wouldn't argue with this person. And I was able to be rational adults, and
sometimes you have to take the feeling, the emotions
out of it.
Because at some point we have to realize that maybe the relationship is over, and we take the emotions out of it and try to improve communication. This is hard.
That's the benefit.
This is hard.
And mediation.
You know, we also offer strategic communication coaching, 888-733-8752.
Boom.
Write that down. So we help out in situations. Right?
I think no more questions flowing in right now, and I'm actually tapped out of questions.
Okay.
I know next week we going to have, or not next week, the week after next, there's going to be excuse my language, a shitload of situations and questions that are going to pop up. I got some people that are like, oh, I want to come on, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Come with the shit.
Well, if you're cutting up, then I need an invitation to come back and cut up.
You're more than welcome.
Because I love
you're more than welcome.
The other side of the conversation, we're not so legally, but when we're getting into that equity and that fairness, because sometimes it is jacked up. You know, somebody will be addicted and end up shooting yourself in the foot.
But that's, again, I go back to saying that's why it's important to consult with legal counsel.
That's right.
Before you go marching your ass down there trying to hurt someone's feelings. You need to bounce that off of somebody who knows what they're talking about, who doesn't have a dog in the fight,
that's right.
Who is uninvolved emotionally, so that they can tell you, now he pays your rent, your car,
you got the baby shoes,
your cell phone bill, Pampers, formula, clothes, baby shoes. Okay, and you taking this man to court?
Well, hold on. How much does he make, though? Is he might be doing just that, but what if he's a multi-millionaire and that's what he's doing? Then we know he could be doing more.
Probability. I understand why you asked that question.
Okay.
But over here, the probability of being a
about the average Joe.
Yeah, I know why you asked it like that. But we're talking about the average Joe citizen.
I have friends like this. I've represented the average Joe.
So I have a question.
And they work hard to try to make sure that their kids are covered.
So even if this is like 1,000 or a millionaire, who's to say like, yeah, he's doing all of that for you, but who's to say he's not setting up a future for his kids that he may not want you to know about? Because he knows the type of person you kind of sort of are.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. And he could be something in the future. He should share it, and he should also call us so that we can get a referral so that money can be properly put in trust. We don't do them, but we absolutely refer it to somebody who can.
Well, that's what I mean, like you're setting up a trust.
Right. So
but setting up a college
plan.
Even if he sets up a trust, she has no ties to that. That's the point of putting it in a
trust. We want to make sure that we have to have everything in place. Who's the trustee? And we always recommend corporations.
She can know about it all she wants. But that's
right. But it has to be properly set up, and it has to. We always recommend, or oftentimes a corporate trustee. So that way you don't have these people see money. And it doesn't matter if it's grandma or uncle or this or that. You want that money. And a corporate trustee will reinvest and invest and help that grow and grow and grow. And then be very responsible.
So I guess here's another question. Okay, say that is the situation. Say a guy goes in and he's with his attorney and he's like, well, I have documentation that I set up a trust. Like, like I pay so much out per month for a trust. Is that calculated as well, or is that just like, oh well, like something that you do?
Good for you. You do that, now you have to do this too.
So, hey, fellas, I'm trying to help y'all out. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you gotta pay child support. You gotta pay.
Yeah. This is what it comes down to. So,
judge whoever the fuck.
So basically,
and see your
females, if y'all mad,
let's get you 50-50.
Yeah.
Work up to it. It's not automatic, but let's work on that custody order.
So that's another. Why is it something that's not automatic? Like if she has the nerve to come down here and sue me for child support, and I could show you that I could do 50-50 custody, why is it
because we're in two different courtrooms. Now we're in custody court, and we have 16 factors that we have to put before the court to show why. How old is the kid? Has he not seen his kid? And the kid's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're not just going to hand kids over to strangers, whether they're biological or related or not.
Let's see what I take.
Well,
what I second one. I'm sorry, wrong podcast. My bad.
I think we were talking about that one. Well, later on down the line.
We
want to see my ass. You got a standing invitation.
I think foster care is one of the topics.
Oh boy. Are you ready?
Lace them up.
I stay ready.
Lace them up.
I stay ready.
Let's see.
They try to drop somebody.
Questions?
No. I'm just saying. From anywhere.
I got to see that all the time. I'm like, no.
Just last week, I'm like,
no. I'm not even living out home right now.
Somebody said, dang, they missed the whole thing. No, if you have any questions, let us know. We'll definitely suggest.
That's right. And part 2 is coming up.
Yeah, part 2 is
July
11th. We're taking off for the 4th of July. We might have a couple cookouts that we got to get to.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
where they are, because I don't have a yard. I can't grill. This is crazy. Where is the cook? Can I come to the cookout?
I'm still trying to finesse. I'm trying to finesse somebody into the cooking. You know me.
My family like that.
I know they do. I'm trying to. They all like, no. I'm like, damn. Like, I'm hungry.
Mama Darlene throw out that mac and cheese.
Shut it out. I'm only gonna put that in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
No.
Mama Darlene.
If anybody
cowboy beans,
cookouts,
that's all I need is the cowboy beans and the mac and cheese. I don't even need no chicken or burger.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we're gonna stay on for like maybe another 15 minutes if we have conversation. But if you do have anything, send it to the chat. Are you able? I don't think you're able to do that.
Ask it.
Numbers, because I seen somebody post yesterday like, oh, I got my little like $6 for child support. I'm like, $6?
She just said that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I get the baseline number.
Yeah.
$6 a month.
Depends on the income.
That is wow. I was like, for that many kids? Ooh, you getting off, my God.
You can't get blood from a turtle.
You can. You got that right.
He ain't got it. What you want him to do?
And you got the nerve.
I'm sorry.
So that's just
that's real shit. But
then why they put people in child support knowing
people go down there believing. First of all, believing that celebrity lifestyle. She's getting $80,000 a month. She's getting $140,000 a month. She's getting $15,000 a month.
Right.
She's getting $10,000 a month. Yeah. She's getting $5,000 a month. Do you know the income bracket you got to be in to see those type of numbers? You understand what I'm saying? People don't think rationally, baby. You live in Shell Farm. Okay, I was gonna say somewhere else, but I didn't want to throw a stone. But you understand? So you said, yeah, you got right.
I know.
Yeah, you was like, wait a minute.
First of all, you grew up in Wilkinsburg. I grew up in Homewood. No shots fired.
No shots. I was trying not to ding nobody.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, you live in Hood, USA.
Right.
Okay, where the average income is 25,000 a year, maybe, and that's on a good time. You know that. You know what I mean? You made 50, you doing. You made anything above 50, you celebrate. You celebrate. So, where the median income, with 15 is like the low end, 15,000 a year,
probably toward.
How much you think? Yeah. How much you think? Like, what is 20%?
So somebody does have a question after we're done.
What is 20% of 15,000 a year? Because what is it? 20% of your month? Sometimes, not always.
It really is.
But hypothetically.
So we have a whole software program that we pay for, that we put all, and then half the time we're even off by a couple dollars.
So, but again, you want these large numbers from somebody that's living paycheck to paycheck. You ain't getting it.
So here's the question. I think we did kind of answer this, but they just popped on.
Okay.
It says, if someone is considered self-employed, how do they figure out how much your child gets a month without paperwork?
Okay, so first of all, if you're self-employed, they want paperwork. And the paperwork that you're going to end up using is your bank statements.
You're not, they won't get their bank statements.
So they're gonna figure it out. There's always a paper trail. So we're going to have the case designated as, well, if you're not, if I'm representing the other side, the one that wants to get paid, then I'm coming for any paper trail that I can get to prove this self-employed income, because you're cashing some kind of check. I mean, they're paying you some ways. Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, check.
So what it would be like a track record of, like, say you got Joe Schmo's lawn care. Mm-hmm. So it'll be like a track record of like different payments.
Well, yeah, unless you're a cash business, at which point it's going to be harder for us to track. You don't really have anything going in and out of your bank accounts and stuff like that. So it depends on the business, and probably the more successful the business is, there probably is more of a paper trail.
The more legal the business is.
Sure.
But you can go ahead and piss the money off and get arrested log if you want to.
That's true. You want to. If you're already dealing with a vindictive person, you're right. They might call it Uncle Sam on you.
The R and the S.
Yes.
If anyone has any questions out there in social media land, please throw them out there. We're going to flow for about another 10 minutes. I think I got all my questions out. I wanted to ask that one and that one. What if someone doesn't pay, but you wait a minute now? It says, what if someone doesn't pay, but you see them taking flights and such things? The last time I checked, money isn't needed to travel. I guess that's something that
you see a certain type of lifestyle.
Yeah, like that goes the lifestyle.
And you might go down there, and I guess if they're posting it all on social media, I've seen people make cases by showing people, living a certain lifestyle, having certain assets. And I've seen women come, or men, come with receipts. They'll just keep gathering their receipts. Here they are in this car. Here they are there.
Well, I'm going to say that there's a perception of reality, right? We had this conversation before. We had to sever business ties with somebody because of their perception of things, what they believe was going on monetarily versus what was actively, realistically happening, right? Just because a person is well traveled does not necessarily mean that they are traveling on their own dime.
That's true.
There are people who have friends that just don't want to travel alone and are willing to pay to take them along so that they don't have to.
That's true.
I am the dine along friend, the travel along friend.
Facts.
The go along friend, the get along friend. People don't want to do things by themselves. They look for somebody that can be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm usually the phone call that is called. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I travel often for one reason or another. You will be mad as hell trying to figure out which one of them things was swiped off of a card or not.
Right,
or someone else.
With somebody else. You never know.
And I mean, like, there's not to say too. I mean, some people do have family that, like, my family has a family trip every December. So if you clocking on that, it's like, I ain't got shit. I just told her come.
That's true.
Sure,
right.
yeah.
You never know.
Showed up.
Perception is reality.
Collecting my boarding pass.
Right.
But conversely, we've had cases where, let's say the payor will say, I don't have any money, but they're living in a house and this and that. Maybe they're single and they have all of these things. You know, we can consider, I've seen the court consider contributions to another person's lifestyle as income.
As income, yeah.
Yeah.
So this person,
that's on the town.
I don't know what the other person does. It says me personally, I know is paying, he's posting flyers and having shows and skipping payments and going out of town. So I'm gonna take a stab at this and say that this person is possibly in entertainment.
And he's hosting events where there's a monetary fee to attend. And then they're also traveling and putting on that entertainment style, lifestyle facade. So they're wondering if they can take that information to court and collect upon it for a value of child support.
They could try. They can try if they believe the person is self-employed and they have some receipts to show this person is self-employed. I believe they're making money.
But once again, you're playing a very, because I'm in the entertainment business, you're playing a very sticky game. Most events where someone is promoting or hosting, they are not getting paid for that in most situations. In some situations, they actually have to pay for the travel.
They're not making it.
I'm just saying.
Because if I can pay for the travel, and I can pay for the event space, and I can pay for that, and I can pay for the flyers printed on, and I can pay for, I can be paying for Timmy's child support.
But they might be taking the little bit that they have to do that to like help their name, to like help get themselves,
you know, where they're going to help themselves get and for the next 6 months.
But here you go, and now you're going to run them down there, and they can't.
And you ain't getting shit now, basically.
You're rolling them back. Well, yeah. And now you're making it really hard. You're making it hard on them. You're making it, you know. Is it really that much money? You know.
I don't know. I wasn't.
Right. I'm just saying. So you have to there's things.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's, like I said, the grass greener type situation. Like, really try to figure that out before you take it down and be like, hey. I see this, and this, like, or speak with your legal counsel, or if you need legal counsel.
That's right. Give us a call 888-733-8752.
Write it down.
But and if you can't afford our services, we'll give you a referral to someone else.
Yeah, because I was like,
yeah. You have a minimum retainer. It has zeros at the end.
Yes, it does. I don't know anything else. We're at about 9:30.
You said the number is for Timothy Richardson is the 888 number?
Yep. 888-733-8752.
Hold on. And for Sam.
Yeah, so yeah.
Again, if you guys have questions,
733.
We'll be on for about another 3 to 4 minutes.
Hold on. 8752.
Anyone else out there got questions for us?
I can't wait for part 2. It sounds like it's going to be spicy.
I hope it's not that spicy. We be having some passionate people on this podcast.
Yeah, I remember the last time I was on, it was getting good.
I have 4 on the 7 today, so I will have some input for the 1 on the 11. If you would like to come be on our panel, reach out. We would love to have you.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, so again, we will have a follow up on the 11th. I think it's the 11th. Yeah, on the 11th. So we'll get into a couple other things. I know. I guess the situation too is that, like, again with the multiple child situation, and they're both parents or child like two different dads, both on child support. It could be a situation where one is paying more than the other. But how does that kind of do they make that ever balance out between the kids?
Different dads.
Yeah.
So different cases, different circumstances.
So what if it's the same dad?
That's where you'll see sort of like a balance.
Balance.
The later the kids come, sometimes the less those kids get.
Oh shoot! Yeah. That's why.
Like by the time you get the kid 10 or something, yeah. So some of them start aging out. Yeah.
So does that make a difference too when a kid ages out? Does that make the support go up for the younger child?
Not always. Sometimes, but not always. Sometimes. Oftentimes, I mean, it can.
Nothing else?
Oh, no, honey, I just want the people to understand that, sometimes it's best to work it out amongst yourselves.
Yeah, sometimes it is. You have to weigh your options.
You're going downtown, you hurting somebody else, being overly emotional, sometimes you end up, really hurting yourself.
Right.
But
for a number of reasons.
Also, I want people to understand too, is like sometimes you're not hurting yourself or the other person, you're hurting that child.
Yes.
Ultimately, because that's who's stuck in the middle of the day.
Right. So, just try to iron it out. For all like the males that I see on Facebook, like I constantly, like I think I've seen it like 3 or 4 times a day too. Know your options. Like as a male, you do have options. So research those, know those. You have rights as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So
the right to be a parent.
Know those and get information on those. So
but also don't go down there fighting alone. Get an attorney.
That's right.
Get an attorney.
Yeah, get some attorney. Even if you can't afford it, like look into your options. There are mad options.
Yes, there are clinics. There are different legal services. There are all kind of there's support for each income level. For sure.
And I know we didn't speak custody too much.
Because we want to do an episode with
Cassidy's my favorite.
But we're going to have to tie that into this some kind of way because a lot of times people think it goes hand in hand, which we're finding out it really doesn't. But you do, again, have options to go get custody.
It can go hand in hand because like she said, that when you're talking about from a perspective of time, if you're in a situation where you have the kids in equal amount of time,
that's right.
With the only thing that changed is the disparity in income. Income disparity. So if you guys are equally yoked, financially, and you're sharing the kids equal time, then there's a high probability that it's a wash. So there's no support order because you're taking care of the kids in your time, you're taking care of the kids in your time, and so the kids are being well cared for.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Y'all gonna be arguing over a whole new petty stuff, and I done heard the pettiest stuff.
So what happens when
that's not good for the kids?
Of arguments.
What happens when there is an order and I guess the guy goes down and maybe does a little custody or whatever, and the mom is like, no.
It's called a protector.
Well, I did that, but you didn't know that?
I don't know. You go foul. Go down the court and say, she ain't let me see my baby on my day.
Oh, right.
So, does that affect child support in any way? Like, if the mom is like, no, you can't see your kid.
No, if there's an order, so there's something going on in custody court, but we have an order that says, say 50-50 or whatever. Her saying no and refusing to give custody is not going to do that. Us having an order, though, and the person not exercising their time can affect it. You see what I'm saying? So just have the order is one thing, you have to exercise that time. I've seen it shoot people in the foot where they had a 50-50 order, they didn't keep the kids 50% of the time. They went and made an argument, and they tracked those days. And the child support got raised for the payer because they weren't actually operating.
So don't be trying to play fast. Act like you want 50-50 cousins.
But you
And
really
only
don't
come to your
use
kid
it.
every 3 Tuesdays of the year.
So
If they're tracking, you could be in a lot. Yeah.
So when you say 50-50, that 50-50 doesn't technically mean like that child has to be with that parent. It means they have to be kind of sort of in their custody.
They have to be in their physical custody.
So they can't go stay with grandma.
No.
Yes, you can.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like,
yes, because my custody time is my
that's
time.
what I'm
So,
saying.
yes.
So,
So I share it with my relatives.
So
if
What
I
she's
was
asking you
divorced,
is, hold on. If I have 50-50 custody with Charmaine, right?
yeah.
And when I come get the kids, not even me, my mom come pick them up and take them with her. And then my mom drop them off at the end of my time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it depends.
You're playing the game of semantics at that point.
Yeah.
So that's what her question is. Like,
Okay.
can my kids be at grandma's house?
yeah, or
my
like,
whole time?
or not
All the
necessarily,
time?
not necessarily the whole
Right.
time, but like
A good
say,
bit of it.
yeah, like say
Every
okay,
day except one every other month.
like say okay. For instance,
Yeah.
it's 50-50 custody, but I have a big family, and my sister doesn't get to see my son as often as she would like to. I'm gonna go let my son stay with my sister
For how long?
2-3 days.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a visit. What you're saying is grandma's really
Grandma,
involved in
yeah, I
custody.
know people like that
Yeah.
who have these orders and they take baby with their mom, or their auntie, or their sister, or their brother, or their cousin, or their neighbor.
Well, then, if you're really trying to, skirt the system and everything like that, stuff like that can backfire.
Or the girlfriend,
It just has the potential to backfire. So,
or the boyfriend.
right.
So I mean, there's times when people get their they come get I'm coming to pick up my baby, and then the baby is with so and so the whole time.
Right.
You ain't nowhere to fuck to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
But then I know there's some situations where it was like grandma picks up, grandma drops off. I know
Well,
some
that's a safety.
situations.
Usually
sometimes
that's
it's
a safety thing.
safety precaution because
We
no,
can't
she
get
was
along.
tripping, bro.
Right.
That's a
right.
safety
Yeah. Third party exchange.
Yeah.
Them all the time.
Yeah.
People cannot even be
At the police station.
500 feet or sheets. We always recommend the sheets because the cameras work. We get good audio on us.
I know a situation where the police was involved and the kid actually became scared of the police. Like anytime the police came around, he'd get anxious.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, y'all got to do something about this, man. Wow.
You can't just self-serve. You have to go back
Yep.
and revisit the order with the person who officiated the order to change the order.
Yes.
People get so caught up in self-serving and they be mad when it all falls apart. And then you want the judge to piece it all back together. The judge is up there looking at you like, who the fuck told you to do that?
Where do we even begin?
What you did? What we just said? Who the record? Give me. I don't remember that. When did we decide that?
Right.
Yeah. I've seen some situations where I was like, wow,
You gotta go back to court. I was one of those people that hated going down because I felt like it was abuse of the system. Judge was like, absolutely not. That's what we're here for. You got a problem with the order, you want to change the order,
That's right.
manipulate the order anyway, you bring your ass right back down here.
Bring it on down.
And,
Yep.
and we'll tweak that.
So-
it has to be out of the
these next couple of episodes, I think what we're doing child support or what.
We can do custody if you want, but we would want to do entrepreneurship. But we can keep it family.
Yeah, but let's keep it
We can do the
family.
whole thing. We can do child.
Yeah, we're doing
Family law marathon.
We got that. We can run it down.
Family law.
Long as she's in town, hey. We doing this week.
We'll do family law marathon until we kind of close it out, and as long as Miss Richards is available.
You're around.
I'll be here on the 11th.
You got to check that schedule. That schedule's crazy.
Man, listen. So if you do want to be on the episode, the 11th, tap in with us. We'll get you set up to come join the panel. Hopefully we can pack this room out and have some good numbers. Again, this is a safe place. We like to keep it that way. Please. We know people get passionate, but
it could be fun. We can have a lively, fun debate.
You got anything else?
About the spirituality going on over there. Oh, that was on camera. I'm like, what the fuck?
You want to close Dana out, or you want to close her out last?
We can close her out. Go ahead, it's still on it.
It's on you. You have anything coming up? If there's anything you'd like them to know about, website, phone number, what all you do at the office.
So, Dana Richardson Campbell, once again, I am a family law attorney and part owner of Tibbet & Richardson, a law firm located here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are Pennsylvania's family law firm. Anything coming up? Oh, just a bunch of court appearances, so nothing out in public at this time. We are launching a new company where we're going to be doing strategic communication coaching for people who need help with that, as well as teaching people how to track for their custody cases and how to help them get organized for those battles. So that's separate from the law firm, so stay tuned for that. We'll be launching that new business very soon. And other than that, you can find us on the web, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. We're live on social media, and our website is www.tibbetrichardson.com. Well.
This was a great conversation.
It was.
Very informational.
Roll the playback and watch it back so that you can get all the information that you miss.
Very informational.
Or sign up and come for part 2 and ask the questions that you want to ask, to get that information face to face.
Again, this is just information. This is not legal advice. These are only suggestions.
What's that going on?
I don't have nothing going on surprisingly. I've been going chilling. I'm going to go see Chris Brown on Sunday.
Oh, where?
That's about it. In Maryland.
I was going to say, I knew you weren't
No, he ain't coming this month. What?
Oh. We don't get a good show. We don't get a good show.
Listen, you
can't
pretend
like we're going to get a good show here.
Sexy Red.
Beyonce canceled. I'm still traumatized over this.
Aside from that, was you going to go see Chris Brown?
Would I have seen him?
Was you going?
If he came to Pittsburgh, I would have went to Drake. I go to a lot of the concerts.
She goes to a lot of the concerts.
Shut up.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to go see Chris Brown on Sunday. I'm super excited. I just want to see him dance, honestly.
Okay.
Pretty good, too, but
she didn't get to meet you.
I sold out. Darn.
She didn't get to meet you.
Darn, that was my opportunity. Darn. But not like that. Get out of there.
What?
Get out of there.
Hey.
I'm trying to network. I'm trying to manage, man. It's management. Like, we got people out here trying to do stuff. Whole Joe. That's fine.
Is your camera off?
No.
The camera's off.
Every camera's off. Yeah. That one right there is off.
But if you cross that way, it's going to catch you.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't, this next couple weeks, I don't think I have anything going on. I'm trying to get back and relax and some of my I don't know these days. I'm a little cluttered right now. Rearrange for them to go through it. So I'm a little cluttered.
Okay. Sure, that is fun for you.
That's all I got. Do you have anything?
Well, I don't. But my children are authors. Like you didn't know. My daughter just launched her How Do I Feel sketch journal. You can find it on Amazon. Her name is Kaya, Kyah Turner. So if you go to Amazon and you type in Kaya Turner, instead of typing in How Do I Feel sketch journal, her journal will come up. But also my son's journal will come up, which is My Voice, Your Voice Matters journal. So both of those journals are to basically help you process it all and get it all out. Really, when we created those journals, we had children in mind. Children, majority of the time, have trouble advocating for themselves or verbalizing or vocalizing what is going on with them. So these journals are designed for them to be able to put down on paper what they feel, how they're feeling, and why. My son's journal will help you if you're more writing prone. Then it'll help you write everything out. Today in Miss Jones' class, Miss Jones yelled at me for throwing an eraser, but I didn't throw the eraser. Tony threw the eraser, and I didn't like that Miss Jones yelled at me. And that way, you as a parent can see that was an experience that your child had during the day. That could be shared with the school, and then there could be a mediating factor had to iron out that disparity between your child and Miss Jones, or the neighbor, or the people at the after school program, or summer camp, or around the corner, down the street at the corner store. So anything that they're experiencing in their day to day that they wouldn't be prompted to just tell you about. Some kids just don't communicate with their parents that way. You would have a way of knowing what was going on. My daughter's journal, if your child is more art savvy and more expressive through art. So while there is a little part for them to write down, like I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel mad, and it's a way for them to sketch out what that feeling is, and then you can dissect that and digest that with your child, in time to understand those feelings and why your child feels that way. The therapist, the school, the after-school program, summer camp, grandma, whoever. So those were the purposes for those journals, but they're not age restricted. If that is something you as an adult, you as a teen, you as an elder, feel is something that's beneficial to you, then we urge you to go and pick up our journals on Amazon.
Yes.
So that is the end of that. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Social Flex today and talking with us and our resident legal counsel, Attorney Richardson, about child support. We will be back to revisit the child support issue again on July 11th. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns that you want to submit, we take submissions. If you want to be a part of the panel, contact one of us and we can get you on the panel. If you know Attorney Richardson personally, like, hey girl, I'm trying to be a part of that podcast, tell her and she'll let us know, and you come on to be on the podcast.
Other than that, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Here at the Social Flex, we always want to remind you to be blessed and a blessing. You never know